Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving Sierra Vista, we agree. For military law and retirees, stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trusted team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell. I'll be your host today, and I have a special guest today. You may remember her from a previous visit. She's a former nurse. She loves digging deep into health and nutrition research. She works right here in our community at the Sierra Vista Food Co-op. So welcome back, Pam Chandler.
Hi, glad to be here. Thank you.
Pam, what are we going to talk about today?
This is kind of a topic that's near and dear to my heart, participation as a key to health. I kind of wanted to talk for a second about how this came to me.
Sure.
I have studied the brain in different aspects, just giving some lectures here and there to some women's groups, local women's groups and things like that. I find the brain very fascinating, but I was just at home, a couple weeks ago, and everything really began to make sense about how our brain is wired.
And you were just thinking of this.
I was, just sitting at home thinking
Pam, you crack me up.
But it's very interesting. It's super interesting because when you think about what life is asking of us, it's the same thing our brain is asking of us, and that is to participate.
All right. Well, that'll be an interesting subject. Let's kick it off. Now, Pam, when most people think about the brain, they think once you're an adult, it's fixed. That's all you've got. So is that true?
Yeah.
Or is that not true?
Well, it's a great question. You know, the short answer is absolutely not. And this is a very exciting thing that they're finding in brain science. They've discovered it really in the past few decades that your brain is not fixed. It is actually designed to grow and adapt and rewire itself throughout your whole entire life.
Wow.
You know, scientists call this neuroplasticity, but I like to name it neuroflexibility.
Now, wait a minute. So your brain is more like a muscle than a hard drive?
Yeah, absolutely. It is like a muscle. And, you know, if you don't, you know how it is when you go to the gym and then you don't go to the gym.
Like me.
You know, our body is very dynamic.
Right.
But so is our brain. What happens with participation is when we participate in something or we learn something new, our brain actually changes shape, which is really interesting. Okay. Yeah, it is. And it grows, which is going to be very important because there's some very wonderful health benefits.
Grows in size or grows in like connections and everything?
Yeah. Yes. So you have more neuronal growth.
Okay.
You have more synapses. You have new roadways. Well, think of it as new roadways.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, that is connecting a piece of knowledge to another piece of knowledge. So the important thing that they are finding here is that we can take in stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Which in our culture right now, we do that a lot. There's a lot of passive observation. There's a lot of things that we normally, naturally do. And I want to emphasize that because our natural way of living was to interact, was to go on adventures, was to figure out, was to problem solve. I think all of the interaction, to be able to have information and interact with it with the ultimate goal of problem solving.
Okay.
It's to survive, right? To problem solve. The person who has the information and knows how to use it. So our brain is literally built that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There are some things that we can do. Okay, so we're not out hunting and gathering anymore. Yeah.
Well, some of us are, but probably not on a regular basis.
Yeah, and even the modern day hunter-gatherers are doing other things too.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a general sense, a lot of our hobbies help us a lot. Having hobbies helps a lot. And I'm going to list, different kinds of things that we can do. Like, for example, there's dancing. I know some of you are already smiling because you love to dance, and you should. I just wanted to say that there's actual studies out there where they studied healthy seniors and found that those who participate in dance programs that required them to constantly learn new movements and patterns, they showed a measurable increase in gray matter in key brain regions. The reason they figure this is because dancing combines physical movement, coordination, memory, and social connection all at once. And that combination is extremely powerful for the brain.
What kind of other things can you do?
Well, of course, card games and board games. And so when people are playing cards, they're sitting in a group of people.
Sure, there's interaction going on.
There's interaction going on, and gamers,
strategy and
strategies
other things
and everything like that.
You're thinking.
And online gamers go through that too. But we're actually feeling the cards in our hands.
Sure.
We're passing them, we're moving them, we're writing the score down, and we're using simple math abilities to calculate it. I would also liken it to writing. Actually,
like creative writing, or just writing in general?
Writing in general, like cursive.
Yeah. It's kind of a lost art almost. Not a lot of people write in cursive anymore.
Or even just writing things down.
Yeah.
So
making lists, doing things.
Making lists. So we're transferring ideas out into our world. And that's really how you make this knowledge your own. Mm-hmm. And this is how we build neural pathways, because our brain's ultimate design is to be able to be successful in your environment. Not be successful on a computer or in a computer game, but in your environment.
I wonder, though, some of it, like, for example, I just think of my nephews who lived with us for a number of years. They had some amazing hand-eye coordination and the ability to react way faster than I can. And then they can do it in the real world as well. Very good. And so I'm wondering if maybe as, we kind of evolve and everything and go through this process, I wonder if that will help us in some ways, trying to think of a positive thing about the computer age, because now you've got ChatGPT and all these other things who kind of do a lot of the work and thinking for us.
That's right.
So how do we keep going, kind of getting out there? But part of it is just like you're saying, just do some simple things to kind of exercise your brain.
That's right. And the thing is, too, is that the exercise and the interaction that we have with our environment does not have to be related to what we are learning.
Okay. What do you mean?
Okay. So, for example, you can sit and read, and then you can go dancing. And you don't have to dance in the time period of the book that you were reading.
Okay. Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get you. I get where you're going from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
interesting that you can do something totally different from what you normally do and read and everything. And it can be something powerful to your brain. Yes,
for sure. Talking about games, though, I really wanted to single out, there's card games and there's board games and there's chess and all of that is good for that neuroplasticity, for keeping your brain flexible and growing. A lot of that has to do with novelty and variability, risk processing, but also that social interaction that we're having with people at the table, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Makes
but
sense.
It's really funny because one of the biggest card games ever studied was bridge. I have no idea how to play bridge.
Oh, I have no idea either. It's kind of an older game.
It is.
We play a lot of cards, actually, but we haven't played that.
Okay.
I played it once, maybe a long time ago. But
I have never played bridge. But what they found is that in people who played bridge across their lifetime, they had denser white matter that kept their brains healthy than any other game.
Really?
Yeah.
So what else? What else, Pam?
The last thing I would like to mention right now is to study a topic outside of your comfort zone. The next one that they suggest is learning something new, and learning something new outside of the topics you normally study.
Okay, something out of the box a little bit.
A little bit out of the
box.
your
norm.
Out of your norm.
Okay.
Because it's going to stretch your brain.
Yeah,
it's going to cause
you
to think in ways that think about things you haven't thought of before. And that novelty causes brain growth.
If you do something new, right? Do something totally different. Like when I first learned how to retile a bathroom, for example, something I'd never done before, took it on, did a little study, requires a little hand-eye coordination, some physical stuff, a little bit of know-how, and what kinds of things that you do. And it requires you to go to the store and search for some things, make lists and stuff. But I found it to be really enjoyable and rewarding to kind of say, yeah, look what I did, and learn something new. Today with YouTube and all the other things, there's somebody there who probably did it before you and can teach you how to do it. And with a little bit of research, you can go out and tackle something new. And that helps your brain.
It does. And you just totally described a positive feedback loop. I mean, because you learn something and then you're like, yeah, I did it. It's positively reinforced. It's pretty cool.
Bottom line, you're wired for participation. Your brain's kind of designed to, be active, engaged. You grow throughout your whole life. Every time you do one of these things, you challenge your mind and you work the way you were made, not against it. It's biology. It's the way we were designed, right?
Yeah. In a little bit, we'll talk about how this has such a positive effect on your life.
Sounds good, Pam. Let's do that, but let's do that right after the break. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. This is the Sherry Ethell Team, Long Realty Studios, Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, and we will be right back.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? Personalized service. Above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I hope you're doing great today and having a terrific morning. This is the Sherry Ethell Team, Long Realty Studios, Keepin' It Real, and I'm Dion Ethell, your host. And I've got Pam Chandler in here from the Sierra Vista Food Co-op. We're doing a little piece on health and wellness. And one of the subjects that Pam wanted to kind of share with us is kind of some of her studies on knowing a little more about the brain and how to really put it to work, kind of stretch your neuroplasticity, that it's not really a hard drive. It's actually kind of a muscle, and you can flex it. So that's kind of interesting, Pam.
Oh, absolutely. I love the topic, and you're pronouncing it really well.
Probably the only thing I'll pronounce right today.
Okay. Would you like me to tell you how all of this started?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Really, this in particular, this whole participating in life idea kind of started back when I was teaching a bit more. I had more of a teaching function locally.
Okay.
And I had heard a story.
Okay.
And the story was about how the Chinese had first organized their school system really on the STEM principle. And for those who don't know the word STEM, it's an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So their programs were very rigid, controlled, very organized, all of that. And the students did very well. It was very competitive. They performed really well in tests.
How was it, though, in real life application?
That was it.
Did it work?
No.
Yeah,
because the students were having a hard time applying their STEM knowledge.
Oh, why is that?
To problem solving in the real world. Yeah, and they were missing the environmental interaction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so
they took a more clinical approach, and it just was missing an element that was needed.
That's right. That's it. And what they found is that their students were really good technicians. But they didn't have very many innovators, that creative side that builds things that are incredible and needed, in the community problem solving. They just were missing that part. So what they did was, instead of just STEM, they inserted an A, which is STEAM. They call it STEAM. And they inserted the arts into the program.
Okay.
And it made all the difference in the world.
And when you say arts, what are you talking about?
Okay, well, at first it was they inserted kind of more formal, still a bit more formal education. And they started giving the students art and design classes or local community problem solving. Get them out there in the community and problem solving. And that worked. All right. And then later in some of the more high-level schools, they just outright inserted theater, dance, and the arts. And they found that by moving and creation, allowing the students to even just do that, it changed everything for them.
So it was enough. It made it work.
It did. It made it work. And, now there's even a group that has a philosophy of kind of technical arts and theater and dancing, where they're having the students actually role play as if they're a molecule of something, or to express what some kind of process would look like. They would dance it out, some scientific process. So they did go back and kind of try to have them express it scientifically too, as well, which is kind of funny. And it all worked. In anything that you do to participate in your environment worked, whether related or unrelated.
So there was some science to it. It wasn't just kind of a philosophy. It was really just putting some things to work that actually drive that engine.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what that brings me to is really what they found. And they found that the brain, they call it the ecological brain. All right. And back in 2024, there was a paper that was published by the Royal Society of Open Science. And it's one of the world's most respected scientific journals. And what they stated was that the human brain evolved to survive and function in a complex environment. Not a simple environment, not a controlled environment, but a complex, messy, real-world environment where they would have to problem solve. So the brain evolved in an environment like this in order to navigate, to explore, to create, to solve, and to connect. And that is the natural habitat of the brain.
So when we stop doing those things, we stop exploring, stop creating, stop connecting, we're kind of working against our own biology in that sense, right?
Yeah, that's precisely it. And the research goes even further with social interaction. By being with people, by talking, laughing, even disagreeing, collaborating, whatever, they found that that's really the brain's default mode. One study suggested that social engagement is not something we do on top of our normal brain function. It's the primary way that the human brain was designed to operate.
What's that mean to here? Like, how do you translate that to people here and what they should be doing in Sierra Vista?
Well, what it means for us is really just to participate. It's in your best interest, and the way that we're designed is to participate. And, we kind of got out of that with 2020. And I'm here to encourage people to go back before that period of time and to really take local classes. There's lots of programs. The Cochise College has community programs. There's the senior center. There's the library. There's all kinds of, even the co-op has classes that come up, community classes that come up on health and nutrition or whatever. Just start participating.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned that with health and nutrition. So I kind of went back to the gym finally. Yeah. It's been a while, and a lot longer than I thought. I had some surgeries and some other things, shoulders and everything, and catches up with you as you get a little older, and so you have some corrections there, and it's amazing how much you lose in the process. Yeah. But when you get back to it and everything, it really it feels good. You can tell, you're feeding your body, your brain, you're doing all those kinds of things, and it does make your day go better.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% great at getting there because we're so busy all the time. But at the same time, I can definitely feel the difference in just your mindset too, And so I can see what you're saying, based on all the study and research and stuff that you've done, that would be true because I'm experiencing it myself kind of in real time.
Nice. So. That's awesome. Everything that you're doing, I am sure that you interact with so many people during the day.
Oh, 100%. It's funny, even at the gym, because it's almost like a reunion because I see people all over town, that I know, or not just acquaintances and stuff, but people I used to work with. A little reminiscing, which I'm sure sparks memory and kind of, you just kind of part of that whole thing, along with all the, of course, the interaction and just the talk. And you seem sharper, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel a little sharper.
So important. Yeah. It's so important. And every time you're doing these things, what we're doing is we're making a deposit into the bank account of our brain.
Right.
And we call that our cognitive reserve.
Okay.
All right. So you want to make those deposits of those activities and that interaction with your environment. Because what they found, scientists followed a group of seniors, and they were able, they kind of found this accidentally. They were able to follow these seniors who had absolutely no symptoms of dementia or Alzheimer's. But when they tested them and did brain scans, they had the disease, but they didn't have any symptoms, none. And so
that's kind of interesting.
But upon finding out what that was, it was because they had been so interactive in their environment, card games, friends, exercise, going for walks, all this stuff, that they had built up so much more white matter that if anything that was a problem, the brain was going around it and using other circuits to be successful in whatever they were doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So the Alzheimer's and the dementia was there. It never affected them.
But it didn't affect them.
It did not affect them because they had so much built up, so many other connections built up. The brain just went right around the area.
That's kind of interesting. That makes perfect sense, really. You think about your body and everything, too. Even your heart or whatever, where, you hear of people who have a blockage or something, and there's all kinds of vessels that kind of work their way around and have been feeding it for a long time and trying to keep that system alive, and other parts of your body too that have some of that regenerative capability. But really interesting.
Yeah.
So if it's like you said it was like a bank account, so you're just kind of storing some of your deposit, your savings account, and storing it away and everything.
That's right.
What happens when you've built up a lot of that cognitive reserve? Then what happens to this? I mean,
well, the important thing is that you stay consistent in your interactions because you still have to use that muscle.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so if I think back about the algebra that I used in high school. Now, being the fact that I never really used it much, I did actually in nursing school. I did.
There's always times and periods in your life that you used it. I use it in a lot of the science stuff that I'd worked on. Yeah,
but I haven't really used it recently.
Yeah, me neither.
And so I would really have to go back and exercise that part of my brain to remember. So we do. If we don't use it, we lose it. So it's important that we maintain our interaction with our environment. Super important.
Huh.
Yeah.
You've talked about the dementia side of it. Is there anything beyond the prevention? I mean, what's for our own personal resilience and everything? What's going on there?
Okay, so I'll tell you what is that I'm going to just mention people who have some mild dementia. Is that if they have found that through walking, even playing darts.
Sure.
Because they have to judge distance.
Okay.
Because there's hand-eye coordination, because you're keeping score. They actually fare better.
Really?
Oh, they do. They fare better.
So a little time at the axe yard or something in Harringtown.
That's right. And even walking, they found that they took a group of seniors and they had a group walk. And they walked for 40 minutes 3 times a week.
Okay.
And they had another group just do gentle stretching.
Yeah.
And the seniors who walked 3 times a week for 40 minutes, they had a 2% brain growth in white matter. All right. But the seniors who just did gentle stretching 3 times a week, they actually had a decline.
Really?
Yeah.
A decline?
A decline.
Huh.
Yeah.
Even though you'd think that's a positive thing, but just on its own merit, that's not enough.
No. I mean,
it's great, probably for your body.
Yeah. We still need to stay flexible.
Sure.
So I'm not saying don't stretch.
Yeah.
But, you could, if you really love stretching and you really...
Go to yoga class.
And then you're in with a group of people, stay after and chat.
Yeah.
With the ladies in class.
You almost can't help it anyway, because you're around a group of people. You're going to say something. You're going to talk.
Right. You're going to talk.
And that's probably the thing that you're missing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah. So it helps us stay resilient when we keep on interacting with our environment, making those bank deposits into our brain, doing it consistently. It helps us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick little break. Such deep thought here with Pam Chandler from the Sierra Vista Co-op talking about the brain and its function and some things we can do. And we'll talk more about it with her right after these messages. We'll be right back with the Keepin' It Real radio show brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios. We'll be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert wakes before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on Cool 104.1 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keepin' It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and the heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keepin' It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, your host, and I'm here with Pam Chandler from the Sierra Vista Food Co-op. We're doing a little health and wellness piece here, talking about the brain. It's a pretty deep conversation. She's got a lot of research, and she's been talking to us about ways, that we could... I guess, you were talking about exercising your brain, that it's more of a muscle than a hard drive. Don't think of it like it's just automatically going to be there for you. You've got to work it. And like anything else, I see a lot of people at the gym working out and everything, and that's great. They're, keeping those muscles going, and that's going to pay dividends later on unless you injure yourself there trying to lift max weight. But yeah, it's also for the brain. The interaction you're having at the gym, the interaction you're having after the gym, the games that you played. You mentioned, the games are good for you, card games and different kinds of problem solving and things like that. Those all add flavor to your process of keeping your brain healthy.
Exactly.
And well.
Yeah.
So tell us more.
All right. Well, I would like to talk to the moms out there.
Yeah.
Who had and children of any ages, because I was doing these things, up until I was probably 14, and that is just the old school stuff.
Yeah.
I remember jacks. Do you remember jacks?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, how to play jacks, and then hopscotch.
I was more of a wall ball kind of guy.
Yeah, wall ball. That's it. Yeah, the hand-eye coordination, jump roping. And jump roping teams. You remember jumping? Yeah.
Sure.
Getting hit a couple times.
Because their brain is really in that high growth mode, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, their brain is just exploding with growth. Just amazing, and it doesn't surprise me that gaming is so attractive, because that just keeps the brain, focused on things. But they need to do other things too. They need to go out. I mean, before it was gaming, it was TV. I mean, so for my generation, it was TV.
Yeah, get off the television, go out and do something.
Yeah, but we still went out and we hit the road on, we met with friends. We went out bike riding and.
I still, even though my kids are in their 30s, nearly 40, I try to take them out and go do something every once in a while. And so the other day, we actually drove to Tucson. So we had some great conversation on the way. And then when we got there, we played some miniature golf, of all things.
Cool.
We hadn't done that for years, but it was a lot of fun because little hand-eye coordination, lots of interaction. And we hit a lot of topics, actually, which was nice. We were working our brain.
Yeah.
Right? So, interesting.
Your brain and your heart.
But we weren't thinking about it. We weren't really thinking about it. It wasn't like we were trying to exercise our brain, but it's kind of interesting now that you've mentioned it, that we were actually helping ourselves by doing that.
Yeah. And you bring up such a good point, because the thing is our brain doesn't really, it doesn't really divide up the difference in these healthy items. Like, for example, we have physical things that help us. We have interacting, social, emotional things that all of this helps with, and then cognitive things. And our brain doesn't divide it up like that. Our brain, when we go out and we ride bike and we chat with friends, our brain lumps it all together with physical growth, social growth, emotional health. All of it is all wrapped up.
Right.
And playing miniature golf with your family is a perfect example, because you're doing those things, but it's emotionally, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Those relationships.
Yeah, we probably don't think about it much, but if you just give a little bit of thought to it, now that you're mentioning it, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Makes it even more meaningful. We were just clowning around, but just had a good day and hanging out with each other, and don't get to do it as often as we used to, but turns out we were stretching our brains a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool.
And people, there's plenty of activities that you can partake in around town. For kids, there's the girls and boys clubs. There's the library, lots of things to do at the library. Plenty of things around town that people can get involved with, volunteering opportunities. That's the other thing is, we should, when possible, if possible, partake in those volunteer activities.
Sure.
Yeah, because number one, they're meaningful.
Right.
Yeah. And it hits this whole other aspect. You're doing something, you're interacting with others, but it's super meaningful, and you're making a difference.
Just being on this radio show, I've talked to a ton of charities, and really broadened my perspective, not only of charity work in general, but just our community and the needs that are out there and the avenues. And it's, I don't know, channeled my thinking a little bit into areas where I wasn't at before. So now I'm kind of more involved in new things. So it's kind of cool.
It is. And I like how you use that word channel. I mean, because that's what's being created in our brain.
Okay. Yeah. She's getting technical on me again. It's so funny, Pam.
It's good.
It's great, honestly. So I know the science is deep, right? But at the same time, it gives you perspective and understanding of what this really means. When you do something, here's some benefits that you're actually doing. And you don't even know it maybe, but here's some great things that you're doing. And by the way, if you thought about it just a tiny bit, and did maybe some of those things more often. And I mean, I'm not going to complain about playing some extra games, or some getting together with the friends and doing an extra card games. And I'm going to next time we do that, I'm going to tell everybody, hey guys, so I learned that we are exercising our brain here.
That's right.
And so this is actually a positive thing.
That's right.
It's not just goofing off, and we're not just blowing our time.
Yeah.
It's actually meaningful time. So,
that's right.
That's
right. It's all good stuff. It's all good. All of these things are good, and there's lots of stuff, that we can get our hands in. The painting, the arts, I was thinking photography. There's a local Sierra Vista Photography Club. And, the one thing that I wanted to mention about all of these things, whether it's exercising or painting or singing or music or whatever, that you're actually at the best advantage as a beginner.
Oh.
Because you're forcing your brain to learn something new.
Right.
And it may feel uncomfortable, and you might be like, gee, I just really got to get this. I need to practice more. And your brain is making so many connections, it's not even funny. Like if we were to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and like we're a master at something, all of that is good, and we're interacting with our environment. But I encourage people who are masters at something to go outside that box and learn the new thing and be a beginner again.
You can kind of get stuck in a rut into this habit of doing the same kinds of things, the same hobby. And it's great to have hobbies and it's great to do stuff. But every once in a while, my wife's always prodding me, you got to try something new. And I'm like, no, I don't want to try anything new. But come to find out that she's actually right. All right, Sherry, you heard that on the radio that you're right. Let's talk about practicality in this whole thing and how do we make this work for us?
I just encourage people maybe have a period of research in a sense of find out what's out there that's new to you that maybe you can participate in, and look and see what's in Sierra Vista, what's in Bisbee, what's in Cochise County. If for some reason you're not able to walk or exercise a lot, you can still stay as active as your doctor allows, I guess. There's people at my gym who do chair yoga, stuff like that.
Sure.
Or if you need to drive to Bisbee and go walking, or whatever, puttering through the shops and talking to people.
Yeah, we do that every once in a while.
Do new things.
Yeah.
Go to an art class held. The Huachuca Art Gallery it has a lot of art classes. Not yet painting classes. I myself have given a beading class.
Oh wow!
And there's been photography. Sean, he gave a photography class.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on that you can participate in.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there are. I know even some realtors here, went out and took a painting class. Oh. They weren't painters. They didn't have, this big art background, but they did it, and they've been doing it a while now, and they've done a bunch of different things with it and really enjoy it and have learned to kind of make it part of their life now. Yeah. So it kind of opened up something new. And I don't know if I haven't talked to them a ton about it, but I'm sure there was part of it was the interactions and part of it was the therapeutic, piece of just doing the art. Yeah. So, yeah. Just kind of cool.
Take a look and see what's going on and start going out there.
So we talked about walking. We talked about dancing, different kinds of physical types of things. We talked about some of the mental things, brains. I'm assuming, so my dad's a big puzzle guy. Yeah. I'm assuming puzzles are productive for you.
Well, I am sure. I am, puzzles, chess. My husband loves chess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to do chess puzzles. Yeah, he likes that.
Oh, wow.
And I showed him the results. I talked to him about bridge, how it's the most studied game. And we're like, maybe we should look into that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun to rediscover an old game that you hadn't done before. We've done that a lot in our little game groups and stuff and tried to rediscover. We play some new stuff too, but it's kind of interesting trying some of that. And then you were talking about some of those precision activities too, like darts or something that creates, you're aiming, and so there's a lot of things going on, right?
Yeah,
with your brain.
And you can hit, like I said before, like with dancing, the thing about dancing is that you're being physical. You're having to be spontaneous and make decisions. Your rhythm, your cadence, all of that, and you're there with people, and usually you're having at least a semi-nice time.
Right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. I might have done a few things that I was like, this isn't my thing. But
and so it's hitting many layers.
Yeah.
And the more layered, the better. We talked about stretching. If you're stretching or going to yoga, stay afterwards and talk with the people.
Yeah, you keep going, kind of go back to that, because I know we've talked about getting outside your comfort zone, but one of the things you had talked to me about it before with the pillars, speaking of pillars, and each one of these is kind of a pillar. Yeah. Now, one of them is social connection, and so you really kind of keep going back to it. It must be critical.
It is, and it is. The social connection is so critical to us because it has that emotional aspect to it, that mental health aspect to it, that scientists figure that it is the way our brain is designed to function.
Right.
Yeah. And so we really need to do those things in a way that we're designed for. So,
well, that's how you're going to get the most benefit, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we talk about that all the time. If you're in the gym or whatever, there are certain ways that you can exercise that you're going to get the maximum benefit out of it, right?
That's right.
And if you go against the grain, trying to do something really weird and you're probably going to hurt yourself more than you're going to help yourself.
Yeah.
Or you're going to build a muscle in an odd way that doesn't benefit you, that it would. So that makes sense. It makes total sense. Yeah. It's interesting, how you're putting it all into perspective. These are all things that, honestly, a lot of us never give it any thought, but good information because it kind of makes you just think about the things that we are doing and how all these things overlap and make kind of a thing for our own health. And we don't think, it's kind of like you see that commercial where they talk about the little thing you put your fingers on to test your heart rhythm and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I can't remember what it's called, but they're selling something, obviously. But
the pulse ox that shows you your heart rate and also your oxygen saturation and stuff.
Yeah. Well, but you think about that, and one of the questions they always ask, well, how's your heart and everything? Is it healthy? And they're well, how do you know? And it's kind of like, how's your brain?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good.
I think it's good.
I forget things from time to time.
Yeah.
But is that a bad thing? And so then you start kind of thinking about it. Yeah. And with something we just don't think about much, is it?
Yeah. No. And the beautiful thing about hearing about it and thinking about it is it really empowers us.
Right.
It gives us our agency back.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool way to think about it.
Yeah. And then you can really our brain wants us to participate in life.
Yeah.
It does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's go back to talking about our design and everything, but we're going to take a break here and come right back to it. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrition before we close our show today. And obviously, nutrition is right up her alley, so we're gonna discuss that a little bit right after this break with the Sherry Ethell team at Long Realty. Long Realty Studios presents Keepin' It Real. We'll be right back, folks.
Tax time is here, but before you spend your refund, consider real estate with the Sherry Ethell team at Long Realty. It's a great way to move from renter to homeowner and on the road to building wealth.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ethell, Realtor and Team CEO of the Sherry Ethell team at Long Realty. Think of me as your guide to all things real estate. I tailor my approach to your needs and, most importantly, your goals. It's time to come see me and get a plan for your success.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Visit Sherry at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more information. Real integrity, real results.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is Dion Ethell, and I'm with Keepin' It Real, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard, here for all your real estate needs. But today I'm talking with Pam Chandler, and pretty deep conversation. We're trying to keep it light a little bit, but trying to help you understand some things behind your brain health. It's something that we don't talk about. We were talking about just before the break, you see that commercial all the time where they ask you about that. Somebody talks to somebody about their heart. Well, how do you know it's okay? And same thing with your brain, how do you know it's okay? Yeah. Are you doing all the things that you should do? Are you going against the grain, or are you actually doing what your body, needs in order to have good brain growth and longevity? And you called it, what was it?
Oh, neuroplasticity?
Neuroplasticity, yes. Yeah. And so, basically kind of, stretching yourself just like you do, your body and keeping it healthy. But we talked a lot about just the brain being more than just a storage place. It's actually ebbs and flows, kind of, and it based on your brain health. And that's so certain things you do can really help you and your children. Mm-hmm. And, you talk to moms a little bit and talking about what's positive, go back to some of the basics, break it up a little bit. Don't just let them sit on the tablet the whole time, and kind of mix it up because it's just good brain growth.
Yeah, because you got to feed your brain. And
Makes sense, yeah.
And so it's very interesting because I'd like to bring up something that I learned in a class I taught for Cochise College, and when they used to give brown bag lunches. Okay. I gave a talk, and it was on food tribes.
Okay.
And in that...
What is that? Food tribes?
A food tribe. It's who you associate with as far as your eating likes. Like a food tribe would be paleo or keto or vegetarian or vegan.
Right.
You know, so we'll call each one of those a food tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have people who cross over a little bit? Or is it usually, do you find most people are kind of pretty set in their way with a certain kind of habit?
I would say all of the above.
Okay.
Because you have people who really, you know, like, for example, the vegans really have a heart after not wanting any animal products. And I understand that. And then you have people who kind of, my husband and I were kind of all of the above. Mm-hmm. And I once heard a doctor, he was not a nutritionist, but he was an Indian doctor, India. And he said that the healthiest diet he's ever seen is when you're a seasonal eater. And he goes, sometimes you're a vegetarian and a vegan, and sometimes you're paleo, and it's because you're eating the food of the season.
Okay, makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was his observation, that was his approach.
I think I'm probably the seafood diet. Just see it and eat it. I don't know. I'm probably pretty bad. Whatever kind of gets put in front of me. But I do have some very specific likes. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, so I tend to gravitate back to that. And of course, being a big hunter growing up and everything, and knowing a lot of ranchers and whatnot, the whole meat in my diet is a big thing. But I love potatoes too. And my wife always gets mad at me because she's like, "There's like 3 starches on our plate today. What are you doing? What are you trying to kill us?" And I'm like, I don't know. I just like that food. So
I understand.
I'm probably not good.
Well, but you're a tall guy.
Yeah.
And you think about how fast you were growing as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And this just came to my mind, and I want to throw it out there.
Okay.
The difference between us and monkeys, you know what the difference between us and monkeys are?
I hope there's some differences.
A lot with our brain.
Okay.
And that is that because our brain grows so fast, our brain is fed through 2 different pathways. One is a sugar pathway and one is a fat pathway.
Okay.
And that's why for humans, that's why people go on the keto diet. Yeah, and they find that on the keto diet, they're having a high-fat diet and they're not eating carbs. They find that certain things adjust well in their body, like their hormone balance and different things like that. But anyway, we are able to go on a keto diet because we have that 2 metabolism pathway. Monkeys only have carb. They only have carb.
Really? But I never thought about that.
Our brain is growing so fast, it had to have 2 energy pathways in order to feed it properly. Yeah, so here you are. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
6'2", and then your brain is growing on top of that. You probably had to eat like nonstop when you were a kid.
A lot, actually. A lot.
Yeah.
Even when I was a young adult, I actually grew when I was in my 20s, believe it or not. I actually grew a few inches in my 20s, and at one point, probably my peak, I was eating about 7,000 calories a day, which is crazy to think about that much. It's like a professional weightlifter or something. But I was eating a lot. Yeah.
So, you've got to take into consideration, all of those factors.
Sure.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Okay. I'll try not to be.
All right. So, but when I was giving that class on the food tribes, I had to look at every food tribe had a food pyramid. And the food pyramid that just kind of shocked me in a way was the Mediterranean food pyramid. And the reason,
I didn't know there was different ones.
Yeah, there's different ones.
I always thought of the one at school, when you learned when you were in elementary or whatever, or junior high or something, a little food pyramid. Yeah. I didn't know there was different kind of versions.
Different ones, yeah. So if you're a vegan, your food pyramid is going to be completely different, right? And if you're keto, your food pyramid is going to be completely different. But the Mediterranean, it shocked me because on the very base level of the pyramid, it was social eating.
Social eating?
It was not even a food.
Really?
Yeah, because that's how their society is. They're very social. They're super social people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is.
So it's almost like, That's interesting. Yeah.
It is.
So as part of your healthy diet, it's that social activity.
It's
with the food.
With the food.
That's interesting because a lot of people, it's kind of trendy, to go out and hit the wineries and eat a bunch of different kinds of foods and do kinds of different restaurants and stuff. And people get together even and do like dinner at people's houses and try different things. And everybody always says it's great. So maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, and you think about the way that families used to be. Yeah. And that is and we're talking about the farm age, late in 1800s, early 1900s, out on the farm. The kids have their hands in the dirt. Yeah. They're helping mom pick vegetables out of the garden. Uh-huh. And then the kids have to help her clean the snap peas and cleaning up the vegetables and chopping, whatever. But they're participating. And so that is my point in this moment is that part of that social eating, it's not just social eating, but it's having family and friends come over and maybe they're helping you chop stuff. Yeah. Or maybe they're just going to sit. Maybe you prefer not to have them do any work, but just to sit and chat. Sure. So you don't have that aspect. But I know that if I could have done something different in my kid's life, it would have been to have them in the kitchen with me, chopping and helping me cook. And me talking to them and really teaching them how to cook good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's interesting. So a lot of my fond memories go back to when I was younger. We had kind of a community garden, but it was just family, but your broader family, all your cousins and grandpas and everybody. Mm-hmm. And we all worked in the garden and then came out. We can't, I grew up in a pretty agricultural heavy area and everything in Oregon. And so there was a lot of that. And we picked during the summer and everything outside of, home. But we did that as a regular routine. Yeah. And you spent a lot of time interacting and, all the cousins and stuff. It was some of my best memories, honestly. Yeah. And then you would learn how to can and cook and do other things. And that's probably why, one of the reasons why I grew up knowing more about that and being able to at least feed myself.
That's right.
So I can cook.
Now, it's funny because my parents are both from Minnesota, and they both had a huge farm, gardens, animals, everything. Yeah. And it was when they moved, they had decided that they wanted to have more of a contemporary lifestyle. So we didn't have any of that. So I did not learn how to have a garden. I didn't learn how to can. I didn't learn any of that. Oh, and as an adult, I had to go back.
And learn it.
And learn. I had to teach myself how to sew. I had to teach myself all of those things. You know, and I would just like to say, I love you, Mom, and it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. But, having that interaction, I'm not going to go into the details of the Mediterranean diet. You can look it up.
That's kind of interesting, though.
But it's just that aspect of that community life. Having friends over for dinner. Yeah.
It's a positive thing.
Yeah, it's a positive thing. Or even over for snacks or maybe a dessert. So just like that.
Well, before we go, I kind of want to just touch on one other thing, and that's the whole foods versus processed foods piece, right? You mentioned the Mediterranean pyramid and everything, and it makes me immediately think of the fact that Americans eat a lot of processed food. Although I think this community probably stronger. We got the farmers market. A lot of people I see make their own food or grow their own food. Things. I obviously sell real estate, so we see a lot of houses, and a lot of people have a garden. And which is awesome, and everything grows so well here. We're that high desert, so we get that cool air and everything else, and things just grow really, really well. And so it's a great opportunity to test out your green thumb and learn how to do some of that.
That's right.
Plus, it's pretty tasty being able to have something fresh. And I can tell you, if you grow your own jalapenos, they are like 1,000 times hotter than anything you can buy in the store. Yeah, and they're so much smaller, but they're so much more delicious. Yeah. And everything is just like popping, and just like we have our own chickens too, and a fresh, egg straight from the hen house is amazing. It's bright orange. It's the craziest orange color, and it's not pale or anything. But we eat processed foods, and sometimes it almost seems like you're kind of, because you're busy, you have to. But how does that affect us?
Well, so, first of all, let's take a look and see what a whole food is versus a processed food.
Okay.
So a whole food is a food that's closer to its natural state as possible.
Right.
Like a carrot, a handful of walnuts, a piece of fresh salmon, an apple, dried lentils. These things are whole foods.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're not buying them in a box. That's
right.
If it's hiding in a box.
If it's got to tell you the ingredients,
that's right.
It's probably processed.
That's right. But you know what? I would like to encourage people to read labels, because that's another part of how you can interact with your diet and be able to read. I'll tell you what, if you've got, like, pasta is not that bad. You can have like lentil pasta, so it's lentils and then, the semolina wheat. Boom, those are your two ingredients. You're doing pretty good. All right, but if you're looking at the label and you can't pronounce the words, and the label is a paragraph.
Super long.
Yeah, is a paragraph long.
Yeah.
It just, that may not be good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so really take a look. If you want to start interacting, even if you're not a big cook and you're not interested, you may have a cooking aversion, and you really you prefer box foods and just add, whatever.
Easy, yeah.
Just start reading the labels. And, I'd like to make a plug for the co-op right now, and that is you are interacting with your community, your environment, and with people when you come to the co-op.
Yeah.
Because it's a very friendly place. There are plenty of whole organic foods, and the staff loves to talk to you.
Well, that's interesting. So we've talked about the whole gambit, from everything from the physical things that you can do to the mental things you can do, the stimulus by, connecting with other people, and then the nutrition and feeding that mind to keep us healthy. So I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you. I know we're out of time. We've spent a lot of time together, and it's a heavy topic, but and you've given us some things to think about as we go on our everyday life. It's another Saturday here, and a great opportunity to get out, stretch your legs, enjoy this wonderful weather, and maybe find something that you can feed your brain with, whether it be something physical or something mental or something food related.
That's right.
And they come talk to you at the Food Co-op, right?
Well,
Join the Food Co-op.
Yep, there you go. Anytime. Stop by anytime.
All right. Thanks, Pam. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is Keepin' It Real with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. We'll be right back, folks, and Sherry will wrap it up.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving Sierra Vista, we agree. For military law and retirees, stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trust a team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
That brings us to the end of another Keepin' It Real radio show, and we just want to say a big thank you for letting us be a small part of your weekend. Whether you're a longtime listener or just caught us for the first time today, we're so glad you're here. Got something you'd love us to talk about? Maybe a local story, a cool event, maybe a guest idea. Maybe you're related to or know someone who has an interesting story, profession, or past. We would love to hear from you, so drop it in our Keepin' It Real suggestion box at Long Realty. We're located just behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or if it's easier, you can email me directly at sherry@sherryethelteam.com or call me or text me at 717-599-2439. This is your show, and it's all about our community, our connections, and the what's up of Cochise County, and as always, keeping things real. And your voice will help shape what we do next. We'll see you next Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 104.1 Cool FM, making radio cool again.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Join us next Saturday for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.